Chapter 1, Before Time Began. Silence and Eternity. Before the stars blinked into being. Before the oceans stirred. Before the concept of before even existed. There was God. Not a god among gods. Not a force. Not a myth. But the Eternal One. Uncreated. Unchanging. Unseen. He was. No ticking clock. No swirling galaxies. No atoms. No light. No sound. Only the fullness of God's presence, infinite. Boundless. Holy. The void. Imagine a canvas with no edges. A silence so deep it has no echo. A darkness untouched by shadow. This was not emptiness. It was potential. It was the womb of creation. And God hovered. Not in space, for space had not yet been spoken into existence. He hovered in sovereignty. In anticipation. In love. The first word. Then God spoke. Not with breath, not with syllables, but with divine authority. Let there be light. And light obeyed. It burst forth like a symphony of brilliance. It danced across the void. It revealed the contours of possibility. It was good. Time begins. With light came time. The first day. The first evening. The first morning. God named the light day. He named the darkness night. And so began the rhythm of existence. Time was not a prison, it was a gift. A framework for story. A stage for redemption. The nature of God. He is not bound by time, yet he chose to enter it. He is not made of matter, yet he formed it. He is not seen, yet all things reveal him. This is the paradox of the divine, transcendent, yet intimate. Infinite, yet personal. Holy, yet near. Creation as expression. Creation was not an accident. Not a cosmic fluke. Not a divine experiment. It was art. It was intention. It was love made visible. Each element, light, sky, land, sea, was a brush stroke of divine imagination. Each day, a stanza in the poem of beginnings. The Spirit moves. The Spirit of God hovered over the waters. Not idle. Not passive. But active like a composer before the first note. He hovered with purpose. With power. With promise. The waters would soon teem with life. But first, they waited. They listened. The cosmic blueprint. Before the sun, before the moon, before the stars. There was design. Not chaos. Not randomness. But order. The universe would be structured. Balanced. Beautiful. And God saw that it was good. Closing reflection, Chapter 1. Before time began, God was already writing your story. Already dreaming of oceans and oak trees, of laughter and love, of redemption and resurrection. This is not just the beginning of the world, it is the beginning of meaning. And it all started with the word. Chapter 2, Let There Be Light. The divine voice. And then, the silence was broken. The voice of God, not thunderous, not whispered, but absolute, echoed across the void. Let there be light. And light was. It didn't flicker. It didn't hesitate. It exploded into being pure, radiant, unfiltered. The nature of light. This was not sunlight. The sun had not yet been formed. This was primordial light, the essence of illumination, the unveiling of reality. It was the first contrast. The first separation. The first revelation. Light revealed form. It revealed movement. It revealed the presence of God. The separation. God saw the light and he called it good. Then he separated it from the darkness. Not because darkness was evil, but because distinction was necessary. He named the light day. He named the darkness night. And so began the rhythm of time. Evening. Morning. The first day. Symbolism of light. Light is more than photons. It is truth. It is presence. It is hope. From the very beginning, God chose light as his first act, a declaration that clarity would triumph over confusion, that order would rise from chaos. Light is the signature of God's intention. Creation as revelation. With light came visibility. The canvas of creation was no longer blank, it was illuminated. The Spirit of God hovered over the waters, and now, those waters shimmered. The void was no longer void. It was a stage. A sanctuary. A beginning. The first day. And so the first day was marked not by clocks, not by calendars, but by transformation. From nothing, to something. From silence, to speech. From darkness, to light. This was not just the start of time. It was the start of story. Reflections on Light, voiceover segment. Light is the first gift. It is the first metaphor. It is the first miracle. It reveals. It warms. It guides. And in every age, in every heart, light continues to speak. Modern connection. When we light a candle, when we open a window, when we step into the sun, we echo Genesis. We participate in the rhythm of creation. We choose clarity. We choose truth. We choose God. Closing reflection, Chapter 2. Let there be light. 3 words. 1 command. Infinite impact. And God saw the light, and it was good. Chapter 3, the sky above. The stillness before the sky. The light had come. Time had begun. But the world was still formless, a swirling mass of waters, a canvas waiting for its next stroke. And God spoke again. The divine separation. Let there be evolved between the waters, to separate water from water. And so it was. A great expanse unfolded, not a ceiling, not a dome, but a firmament, a space of breath, of sky, of atmosphere. God called it heaven. The waters above and below. The waters below churned and rippled. The waters above shimmered in mystery. Between them, the sky stretched wide, a cradle for clouds, a corridor for wind, a canvas for sunrise and storm. This was not just air. It was structure. It was space. It was promise. The birth of the atmosphere. Invisible, yet essential. The atmosphere wrapped the earth like a divine embrace. It would carry birds. It would hold rain. It would echo thunder. It would whisper breeze. The sky was not empty, it was alive. The naming of heaven. God named the expanse heaven. Not the heaven of eternity, but the heaven of clouds and stars, of flight and weather, of sunsets and rainbows. It was the second realm, the second act, the second day. And God saw that it was good. Symbolism of the sky. The sky is a symbol of distance and connection, of mystery and majesty. It reminds us to look up, to wonder, to dream, to pray. It is the meeting place between earth and eternity. The role of the firmament would hold the stars. It would host the sun and moon. It would become the stage for signs and seasons. But for now, it was simply space, a sacred separation. A breath between waters. A pause between acts. Reflections, Day 2. Day 2 was quiet. No creatures. No plants. No light sources. Just structure. Just order. Just the sky. And yet it was essential. Without the sky, there could be no rain. No flight. No rhythm. God was building the framework for everything to come. Modern connection. When we gaze at the sky, we see more than clouds. We see the hand of God. In every sunrise, in every storm, in every rainbow the firmament speaks. It says, you are part of something vast. Something beautiful. Something divine. Closing reflection, Chapter 3. On the second day, God created the sky. He separated the waters. He formed the heavens. He gave the world its breath. And he saw that it was good. Chapter 4, Earth awakens. The waters wait. The sky had been stretched. The firmament stood between the waters above and below. But beneath it, the world was still submerged a deep, endless ocean. And then, God spoke again. The gathering of waters. Let the waters under the sky be gathered into one place, and let dry ground appear. And so it was. The waters obeyed. They receded, rolled back, gathering into vast basins, oceans, lakes, rivers, and streams. And from their retreat, the land rose. Mountains pierced the surface. Valleys unfolded. Plains stretched wide. God called the dry ground earth, and the gathered waters seas. And he saw that it was good. The birth of land. This was the first time the world had shape. The first time gravity had a playground. The first time footsteps could be imagined. The earth was no longer a mystery beneath the waves, it was a stage for life. The command to grow. Then God said, let the land produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants, trees that bear fruit with seed in it, according to their kinds. And the earth responded. The first green. From the soil, life erupted. Grasses unfurled like emerald carpets. Vines curled upward, reaching for light. Trees stretched their limbs, bearing fruit in every color. Orchards bloomed. Fields rippled. Forests whispered. The earth was no longer bare, it was alive. The diversity of growth, every plant had a purpose. Every tree had a name. Every seed carried the future. There were herbs for healing. Grains for nourishment. Flowers for beauty. The land was not just functional, it was abundant. Symbolism of vegetation. Vegetation is the promise of provision. It is the symbol of growth, of renewal, of hope. It reminds us that from dust, life can rise. That from stillness, movement can bloom. The rhythm of reproduction. Each plant bore seed. Each tree bore fruit. Each generation carried the next. God built continuity into creation. A cycle. A rhythm. A legacy. And he saw that it was good. Reflections, Day 3. Day 3 was the first day of life. Not sentient life, but organic life. It was the beginning of ecosystems, of seasons, of harvests. It was the day the earth became a garden. Modern connection. When we plant a seed, we echo Genesis. When we walk through a forest, we walk through God's imagination. When we eat fruit, we taste the goodness of Day 3. Closing reflection, Chapter 4. On the third day, God gathered the waters. He raised the land. He painted the earth with green. And he saw that it was good. Chapter 5, Celestial Symphony. The stage above. The earth had awakened. Land had risen. Green had bloomed. But the sky, the vast canvas above, was still waiting for its masterpiece. And God spoke again. The lights in the vault. Let there be lights in the vault of the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them serve as signs to mark sacred times, days, and years. And so it was. The sun, the great light. God created the greater light to govern the day. It blazed with warmth, bathed the earth in gold, and became the heartbeat of daytime. The sun was not just a light, it was a clock, a compass, a source of life. Its rays would nourish the plants. Its heat would shape the seasons. Its rising and setting would mark the rhythm of existence. The moon, the gentle light. Then God made the lesser light to govern the night. The moon soft, silver, serene. It would reflect the sun's glory, guide the tides, and watch over the sleeping world. It was the guardian of dreams, the keeper of mystery, the whisperer of night. The stars, countless witnesses. And then God scattered the stars. Not randomly, not carelessly, but with intention. Each star was placed. Each constellation designed. Each galaxy spun into motion. Billions of lights, each one a witness to creation. Each one a note in the celestial symphony. The purpose of the lights. These lights were not just decoration. They were signs. They marked seasons. They guided travelers. They inspired poets. They would tell stories. They would reveal patterns. They would echo the order of God. Symbolism of the celestial bodies. The sun is strength. The moon is reflection. The stars are legacy. Together, they form a divine rhythm, a cosmic dance of light and shadow, of movement and stillness. They remind us that even in darkness, there is guidance. There is beauty. There is purpose. The fourth day ends. Evening came. Morning followed. The fourth day was complete. And God saw that it was good. Reflections, Chapter 5. Day 4 was the day of cosmic choreography. It was the day the sky became a symphony. It was the day time was born. From sunrise to sunset, from full moon to new moon, from constellation to constellation, the heavens began to speak. And they still speak. Modern connection. When we look at the stars, we see more than light. We see history. We see design. We see the fingerprints of God. The sun warms us. The moon calms us. The stars inspire us. And all of it began on day 4. Closing reflection, Chapter 5. On the fourth day, God filled the sky with light. He gave us time. He gave us rhythm. He gave us wonder. And he saw that it was good. Chapter 6, Waters come alive. The stillness before life. The earth had shape. The sky had rhythm. The land had color. But the world was still quiet, a garden without movement, a canvas without motion. And then, God spoke again. The command to fill the waters. Let the waters teem with living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the vault of the sky. And so it was. The birth of sea life. The ocean stirred. Ripples turned to waves. And from the depths, life emerged. Tiny plankton shimmered like dust in sunlight. Schools of fish darted in synchronized ballet. Jellyfish pulsed with translucent grace. Octopuses curled in coral caves. Whales sang in deep, resonant tones. The sea was no longer silent, it was alive. The majesty of marine creatures. God created great sea monsters, leviathans of the deep, creatures of mystery and power. Sharks sliced through currents. Dolphins leapt in joy. Turtles glided like ancient spirits. Each creature was unique. Each one had a role. Each one was a masterpiece. The sky comes alive. Then the air began to stir. Feathers fluttered. Wings stretched. Birds took flight, sparrows, eagles, hummingbirds, owls. They soared, they dove, they danced. They filled the sky with song, with color, with motion. The firmament was no longer empty, it was a sanctuary of flight. The blessing of life. And God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply. Fill the waters in the seas, and let the birds increase on the earth." It was the first blessing. The first command to flourish. The first invitation to abundance. Symbolism of sea and sky. The sea is depth. The sky is freedom. Together, they represent the vastness of God's imagination. The mystery of the deep. The wonder of the heights. They remind us that life is not confined, it is expansive. It is diverse. It is sacred. Reflections, Day 5. Day 5 was the day of motion, of music, of multiplication. It was the day the world began to breathe, to swim, to soar. It was the day creation began to sing. Modern connection. When we hear birdsong, we hear echoes of Genesis. When we watch fish glide through water, we witness divine choreography. When we marvel at the diversity of life, we remember the fifth day. Closing reflection, Chapter 6. On the fifth day, God filled the waters with life. He filled the skies with flight. He blessed creation to multiply. And he saw that it was good. Chapter 7, The Crown of Creation. The earth waits. The oceans teemed. The skies sang. But the land waited for its companions. And God spoke again. The creation of land animals. Let the land produce living creatures according to their kinds, livestock, creatures that move along the ground, and wild animals. And so it was. The diversity of beasts. From the soil came strength. From the dust came motion. Elephants thundered across plains. Lions roared in golden savannas. Ants marched in silent armies. Cattle grazed in peace. Wolves howled beneath moonlight. Each creature was crafted with care. Each one bore a purpose. Each one belonged. God saw them all and he saw that it was good. The divine pause. But then, God paused. Not because he was weary. Not because he was uncertain. But because something sacred was about to happen. Creation was about to meet its reflection. The decision to create humanity. Then God said, "Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, the livestock, and all the creatures that move along the ground." This was not just creation, this was communion. The formation of man. God did not speak man into existence. He formed him. With divine hands, he shaped Adam from the dust. With divine breath, he filled him with life. And Adam became a living soul. Eyes opened. Lungs filled. A heartbeat began. Man stood not as a beast, but as a bearer of the divine image. The creation of woman. But God saw that it was not good for man to be alone. So he caused Adam to sleep. And from his side, he formed Eve. Not from the ground, but from man to walk beside him, to share in purpose, to reflect God together. the blessing of humanity. And God blessed them. Be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth and subdue it. Rule over the fish, the birds, and every living creature. This was not domination, it was stewardship. Humanity was entrusted with the care of creation. Symbolism of humanity. Man is not just flesh. He is spirit. He is mind. He is will. Woman is not just companion. She is equal. She is essential. She is divine reflection. Together, they are the crown of creation. The image of God. To be made in God's image is to carry His likeness. Not in form but in essence. In creativity. In morality. In relationship. No other creature was given this gift. Reflections, Day 6. Day 6 was the day of intimacy. Of identity. Of authority. It was the day God shared Himself. And He saw, not just that it was good but that it was very good. Modern connection. When we love, we echo God. When we create, we reflect Him. When we care for the earth, we fulfill our original calling. We are not accidents. We are not afterthoughts. We are image bearers. Closing reflection, Chapter 7. On the sixth day, God created animals. He created man. He created woman. He gave them purpose. He gave them blessing. He gave them Himself. And He saw that it was very good. Chapter 8, the Garden of Eden. Paradise prepared. The earth was formed. The sky was filled. The seas teemed. The land breathed. But God had something more in mind, a place not just of beauty, but of intimacy. A sanctuary. A home. So the Lord God planted a garden in Eden, in the east. And there, He placed the man He had formed. The garden's design. It was no ordinary garden. It was a masterpiece. Every tree was pleasing to the eye. Every fruit was good for food. Colors danced in the sunlight. Fragrances filled the air. In the center stood two trees, the tree of life, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. A river flowed from Eden, watering the garden, then splitting into four mighty rivers: Pishon, Gihon, Tigris, and Euphrates. It was a place of abundance, of provision, of peace. Man's purpose in the garden. God placed Adam in the garden not to wander aimlessly, but to work it and take care of it. He was not a guest, he was a steward. The soil responded to his touch. The trees bent gently in his presence. The animals watched him with trust. Adam was not just living in Eden, he was partnering with God. The divine command. And the Lord God gave a command. You may freely eat from every tree in the garden. But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you must not eat. For in the day you eat of it, you will surely die. It was a boundary. A choice. A test. Not to restrict but to protect. The search for a companion. God saw that it was not good for man to be alone. So He brought every beast of the field, every bird of the air, to Adam. And Adam named them all. Lion, eagle, horse, dove. But among them, no suitable companion was found. The creation of woman. So God caused Adam to fall into a deep sleep. And while he slept, God took one of his ribs and closed up the place with flesh. From the rib, He formed a woman. Not from the dust but from man's side. To walk beside him. To share his purpose. To reflect God together. The first union. Adam awoke. And when he saw her, he said, This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of man. And so, a man shall leave his father and mother and be united to his wife. And they shall become one flesh. The innocence of Eden. Adam and Eve were both naked and they felt no shame. There was no fear. No guilt. No hiding. Only trust. Only unity. Only peace. They walked with God in the cool of the day. They listened. They learned. They loved. Symbolism of Eden. Eden is more than a garden. It is a symbol of divine relationship. Of freedom with boundaries. Of purpose with beauty. It reminds us that paradise is not just a place, it is a posture. A way of living in harmony with God. Reflections, Chapter 8. The Garden of Eden was the beginning of home. Of marriage. Of calling. It was the place where humanity first heard the voice of God, first felt the warmth of love, first tasted the fruit of purpose. And it was very good. Chapter 9, The Divine Rest. Completion. 6 days. 6 acts of divine creativity. From light to land, from stars to souls, the universe had been formed. And then, God stopped. Not because he was tired. Not because he was finished. But because something deeper was unfolding. The 7th day begins. By the 7th day, God had finished the work he had been doing. So on the 7th day, he rested from all his work. He didn't create. He didn't command. He simply rested. The nature of divine rest. This was not sleep. Not slumber. Not weariness. It was satisfaction. It was completion. It was delight. God looked upon all he had made, the light, the sky, the land, the life, and he saw that it was very good. So he paused. He breathed. He blessed. Sanctifying time. Then God blessed the 7th day and made it holy. It was the first time a moment in time was declared sacred. Not a place. Not a person. But a day. A rhythm was born, 6 days of work, 1 day of rest. A divine pattern. A holy cadence. Symbolism of rest. Rest is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is the space where we reflect, where we remember, where we reconnect. God's rest is an invitation to pause, to breathe, to be. The Sabbath principle. The 7th day became a model, a Sabbath. A time to cease striving. To honor creation. To worship the Creator. Later, it would be codified in law. Celebrated in tradition. Cherished in faith. But here, in Genesis, it was simply a gift. Creation as temple. Some say the 7 days of creation mirror the building of a temple. And on the 7th day, God took his place not on a throne, but in the midst of his creation. He walked in the garden. He dwelled among his people. The world was his sanctuary. And rest was his presence. Reflections, Day 7. Day 7 was the day of completion. Of blessing. Of holiness. It was the day God stopped creating and started communing. It was the day time became sacred. Modern connection. When we rest, we echo Genesis. When we pause to reflect, we honor the Creator. When we set aside time for peace, we step into the rhythm of Eden. Rest is not a luxury, it is a legacy. Closing reflection, Chapter 9. On the 7th day, God rested. He blessed the day. He made it holy. He invited us into his rhythm. And he saw that it was very good. Chapter 10, Reflections and Revelations. Looking back. 10 chapters. 7 days. One divine masterpiece. From the silence of eternity to the breath of humanity, the creation story unfolds not just as history but as revelation. It is a mirror. It is a map. It is a message. Creation as revelation. Creation is not just what God made, it is how God speaks. The light reveals His clarity. The sky reveals His vastness. The land reveals His stability. The stars reveal His rhythm. The creatures reveal His imagination. Humanity reveals His image. Rest reveals His heart. Each day is a verse. Each element is a word. Each breath is a whisper. The story beneath the story. Genesis is not just about beginnings, it is about belonging. It tells us, you are not an accident. You are not forgotten. You are not alone. You are part of a story that began before time and continues beyond it. The layers of meaning, voiceover segment. The creation story is a cosmic poem, a spiritual blueprint, a moral compass, a relational invitation. It speaks to the scientist, the artist, the seeker, the child. It is simple enough for bedtime, and deep enough for theology. The echoes of Eden. Eden was not just a garden, it was a glimpse of what could be. Harmony, purpose, presence. Though Eden was lost, its echo remains. In every act of kindness, in every moment of peace, in every breath of wonder, we hear Eden calling. Creation and Revelation, Modern Insights. The book of Revelation ends where Genesis began. A new heaven. A new earth. A river of life. A tree of healing. It's not about escaping earth, it's about renewing it. God's story is not linear, it is cyclical. It begins with creation, and ends with recreation. The invitation. The Spirit and the bride say, come. Come into the story. Come into the rhythm. Come into the light. Creation is not just a past event, it is a present invitation. To live. To love. To reflect. Final reflections. You are made in the image of God. You are part of the divine design. You are called to steward, to create, to rest. You are not just reading Genesis, you are living it. Every sunrise is day one. Every garden is Eden. Every act of love is divine. Closing, the journey continues. And so the story ends, and begins again. From let there be light to behold, I make all things new. Creation is not finished. It is unfolding. And you are part of it.